Hey guys, so today's Tro Talk video is going to take a slightly different tone to my usual because I think there's a few conversations that we're not having that should be occurring. These are conversations that you should be having with your friends, your family, your co-workers, and also conversations that need to happen within yourself. And of course, talking about mental health, it's something that affects an alarming number of people, and I don't think people realize how common it actually is. Depending on what statistics you find, it's saying that up to 1 in 2 will experience it in their lifetime, whether that be directly themselves or through a direct relative or loved one. Chances are you're going to encounter something to do with mental health or some complication that has arisen because of a lack of care or a lack of attention to mental health. So why is this conversation so difficult? Why are people so uncomfortable to talk about mental health, but yet when they talk about physical conditions like something like chickenpox, it's such an easy and open conversation. You ask for advice, you go to the doctor. If there's a medication that will help you, you get that as soon as you can because you want to get better and you know that you can do that. There is that stigma, I guess, that's attached, and it happens to a lot of things where if something's not understood correctly, if people can't, I guess, quantify a certain theme or a certain idea, they tend to almost be scared of it. And then when you're scared of someone, it stops conversations, it stops knowledge, it stops people learning more and experiencing more and dealing with things better. If you don't talk about something, you can't move forward from it, you can't learn from it, and you may not even be able to deal with it at all. Like as we see, and I've seen it myself, both across the other side of the world and across my own city, people take lives because of mental health. They take their own life, they take the lives of others. They harm themselves, whether that be through direct violence towards themselves or others, or through substances or neglect or something. Mental health kills, mental health harms, and mental health disables people. Whether that be the actual condition itself or the side effects. Something that's killing our friends and family, we should talk about that. We can't ignore that. History says if you ignore a problem, it doesn't get better. It gets worse. And I don't know whether it's because I'm being exposed to it more as I get older and kind of live life a bit more, or in recent times it has become worse, but I feel now that so often I'm hearing or encountering examples of people that have been affected to the point of harming, or even worse, actually taking their life. That for me, this is difficult for me, but it has to happen, because if people like me who are in a position where I can actually influence people, if I don't talk about it either, I think that's irresponsible. And like, if there's anybody else watching who reaches out to people, talk about it as well. The more we start to address this, the less we cover it up and try to make it go away. I think the more people will be more comfortable seeking help, the more help that may be available, and the more we will learn so that we can get a better hold on mental health and a better understanding. Understanding means results. We can't fix something that we don't understand. There are so many organizations out there already that are starting to address it, and I do feel, at least recently, with all the tragedy, there have been a very big push for campaigns and procedures to happen. I just don't think it's filtering through to the point where we are actually comfortable. We're gonna upload a Facebook status or a picture or a quote, but are we actually accepting it, or are we just trying to show the world we think we are? Even me, I do this as well. Like, I think I'm really sort of moving forward, but I mean, it took me 3 weeks of thinking about this video to even start it, so I kept delaying it because it still did have a bit of a hold over the way I think about it. So the point I'm making with all this is, let's have conversations. Let's start to talk about mental health just like we would a physical condition, because at the end of the day, the results can be the same. And the prognosis is the same. A lot of the time there are treatment options, there are ways to maybe not cure, but at least manage, lessen, and curb these sort of bad behaviors that can be associated, or these negative behaviors, harmful behaviors. But if we don't acknowledge it, it's not gonna happen. We have to have these conversations with ourselves. We need to take time to actually stop and ask ourselves, am I okay? What's going on? I do it a lot. I tend to rather deal with someone else's problems than my own, but that's not getting me anywhere, because the more I ignore what's going on, of course, the worse it's gonna get. And unfortunately, I've seen what happens when it's ignored. So, that's all I have so far. I think I'll follow up with this conversation, but for now, I just wanted to get it started. I plan to do a few more videos. I'll talk more about my own experiences and maybe start to try to, I don't want to offer too much advice because like I said, I don't understand it completely, but maybe if I share some of my stories, it could help maybe someone else relate to or correspond with certain things I say. And if that can help, I'm happy. It's taken me a lot to get to the point where I can actually acknowledge where I've been, what sort of headspaces I've been in, and things I've experienced. And I think that was my first step, was realizing that I wasn't perfect. And even being on the other side of the fence and caring for people with mental health conditions at times, that doesn't make me immune. That makes me, I guess, more likely to be arrogant about thinking, nah, I'm above it. But I'm not. Nobody is. 1 in 2 people in the world. It's something we shouldn't be ashamed of. It's something I wish we could talk about openly. I don't think we can yet. And certainly it does. It sometimes even makes myself uncomfortable when I'm doing it in a professional manner. Yeah, we have to talk, okay? So until next time, do what you need to do to start these conversations. Of course, if you're feeling like there is nobody, know that there is. There's lifelines that you can call. There's even online facilities you can use where if you're not comfortable talking to somebody, you can type it out. And all you need to do is just Google for help. And there will be so many websites. I'll pop a few links, of course, in the description to this video. So I'm sorry this video wasn't as upbeat and entertaining as perhaps my others, but it has to happen. Take care of yourselves. If you have questions or something maybe you think would help if I was to elaborate on it more, please pop it in the comments. The more I get from you guys, the more I can actually be productive, okay? So take care, bye.